Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Monday morning. A big week lined up. I know y'all are scrambling to get a last-minute Christmas present, but don't spend too much money on me, but just hold it to a minimum. But I do appreciate them. Just kidding now. Please don't give me anything. Let's get started with our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. It's going to be high today, 74, low 66. A lot different from last week. We had some really good cold weather, very enjoyable. So hopefully we'll get some more cold weather soon. The water temperature at the end of the pier, looking at 68 degrees. Our Monday moon phase, I always like to talk about this every Monday. Tonight's going to be a half moon. It's waxing up. 1 week from tonight will be the full moon of December. So we're going to have some good moonlight. And it seems like these nights are more clear in the wintertime. We see more stars and a brighter moon. So that's coming up. Our Monday moon phase, of course, brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. Take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Neat tide today, not much going on, just opposite from last week. We had those really strong tides, but we do have some good strong tides coming up. Our wind direction will be variable coming out of south-southwest. So let's take a break. We'll be right back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to familiar guest here. He's been out a little bit lately, but we're glad to have Daniel Cole back. Daniel, he's been busy, we've been busy, and we couldn't get our schedule, but we're glad you're back. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
You've been staying pretty busy?
Oh, yeah. Always busy.
Well, before we get to boats and all, we got to talk about some hunting, because you showed me some nice pictures, and we got here in Florida Panhandle, we've got some nice bucks. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's show you first. Let's show you first right here. What about this story? Tell us about this picture.
It was just this was a great day. This was Saturday evening.
Wow. That's two fine bucks. That's here in the Florida Panhandle.
Yeah, that's here in Calhoun County.
That's not in Alabama somewhere.
He came out, first one came out, and I dispatched him. I was waiting for the other deer to leave the lot, which they wouldn't do, and then I had another one walk in the kill box, and I dispatched him. So, and there was some that was still there, some other big ones that were just watching. So it's just like they wouldn't leave. I had to wait forever for them to leave to get down out of the stand to go get them. But
wow, that's really nice. We've been talking about before we came on air all kind of hunting things going on, and it's been some nice bucks killed early this year.
Very much so. Very much so.
You brought up a good point too, and I've seen this. Interesting you brought it up. We're seeing some really small yearling, young yearling, and we don't. Tell me your feelings on that one.
Well, with Thursday and Friday, I hunted, and there were tons of deer. But what we noticed was there was a lot of does coming. Some are still in spots; they're not yearlings. Mm-hmm. They're still falling. So by the time we got into Saturday, when doe weekend started, I felt, I was just reticent to take a doe because so many of them were trailing babies. Mm-hmm. But then it was fortunate and had the 2 bucks come out, so it's still a great day. So yeah. And then we beat FSU, so it was a great day. It was that Saturday.
Yeah, I know. That was and then you're talking about coyotes and all that. If there's a young deer, they're prey to a coyote.
They are. And smaller deer, even yearlings can be, because they'll pack up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the answer is to that, but coyotes are a real nuisance.
Do y'all have obviously pretty good? Y'all feed them pretty good, and
oh yeah, we feed them, take care of them. Our lease kind of took a morph. We went from 6 members down to just me and my friend Max.
Oh.
So there's only 2 of us in that lease.
Okay.
And the habits, the ethics, everything about shortening that scope of who's there took a huge improvement because of the quality of deer we're seeing. it just never fails. Anybody who's in a lease knows what I'm talking about. You've got people who don't have the same ethics, they don't have the same values, and they'll shortcut. Well, and so I'm really happy that where we're at now, me and Max together in there by ourselves, we've just covered up with deer because of the way we've tried to take care of the property, keeping them fed up, keeping it quiet, keeping it everything, We don't disturb bedding areas. We have our areas, and we just are very particular how we go about it.
You just nailed a couple of things right there as far as good deer management and taking trophy bucks like you just did. One, you don't mess up with the bedding areas. You just stay out. They need spots. I have the same way on my property. I just never go into one area because I know it's a bedding area, and just being quiet. They'll know where you are. They're gonna hear that truck door slam. They're gonna hear you coughing and whatever, and they're gonna pinpoint all of that.
Well, just taking care of the land itself. I mean, prior we had problems. You'd go to your stand and you'd find beer cans in the road. You'd find trash along the way. You had people who always had an excuse. They couldn't tell what size deer they were shooting. And, so we actually had one member last year that we had to report to FWC.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my
We don't put up with it. And then pulled another stunt, and we just kicked him out.
I don't blame you.
So the two of us in there now, we're having a great time. Covered. I mean, I've never seen so many deer, and
that's awesome.
But it's the Thursday and Friday that we sat, I saw 19 deer both days.
Oh wow!
And in our area, that's a lot of deer. So and they were all different sizes, different breeds. I mean, different. They're both does and bucks. Like I said, there was trailing a lot of spotted fawns, so we were very careful about how we, looked at that.
You were talking about those members not doing that what they should do. My dad always had this term: he just won't carry his load, and that's exactly that sort of umbrella term for he ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, one of the things I learned early, and my friend Max is on board with, is if you have a piece of property, even if it is a lease, you're responsible for it. You're responsible for what's on the lease, what goes on that lease, and it's almost like raising livestock. So you protect it from predators, you make sure it's fed, you make sure it's safe, you make sure it's cared for as best you can. And you always have poachers and other lowlifes that'll intervene in that, but you do the best you can do, and then it all works out.
Sounds like y'all
have good hunting days.
Y'all got a good handle on it, and it's all the reward. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with Daniel Cole. Okay, welcome back. See, we're Daniel Cole. We're going to go from the woods to the water. That sounds familiar, things we love to do here in the Panhandle. We can't decide the woods or the water, but we love both of them. And talking about, surveying the boats and all. I had this picture on a couple of weeks ago because Mandy and Megan posted it because they're so proud of their family heritage in boat building going way back. But on these boats here, Grover Davis's family, they ship these boats out. So you got to do, here's a Lucy D. So you got to do, tell me what all you did
Judy D and the Lucy D. So we were called, the company that bought them is out of California.
Okay.
It's SoCal Marine Transportation. And we had actually did, I think it was the Carry D for them a couple years ago. They bought it. And so they called us back and asked us if we'd survey these two boats for them. And, the thing about that operation is those guys are so knowledgeable and they do such a great job of keeping them boats up. I mean, we see crew boats, which the average crew boat is not built as well as a Queen craft was. And that's just the fact of it. But their crew takes such a great care of keeping these boats up. And SoCal Marine Transport met with a great guy named Matt, real professional, great job. Man, they really, when these boats got set up to go, they were ready to go. So, good guys.
So when you get on a boat, I mean, just tell how you do that. I mean, how you go through it and all, basically.
Well, these are being large boats. These were 140 footers, so it's actually a 3-day process. You just can't cover that boat adequately in one day.
Yeah.
So we were actually back several times going over different parts. They were updating things, fixing things. They put in a whole new electronics package in one of them. And so we were just back and forth, making sure everything was done correctly, and that anything we could find, like we did hull survey, then inside hull survey, so that anything, if there's any wastage or any type of corrosion, it could be addressed prior to being put out. And it's nice because Grover had such a great yard. You know, they were pulled out of the water. They had a couple propellers they had to have repaired, but it was all in all, I mean, it was a very smooth operation. Grover had quite the setup, and it's the whole operation. It's very professional at Queencraft.
Talking about morphing into the fishing boats, into the marine transportation boats. He saw such a need for quality boats. I remember talking to him one time, and there were some boats out there that wasn't very good.
That's right.
And he vowed to make some really good, dependable. He used the word dependable boats. Those guys who get on that boat and depend it's going to be a safe boat.
Well, when you go over them, I mean, some of the other brands like are built out in Louisiana. They're not built to as high a standard, and it really shows. I mean, in the quality and the value. When a Queencraft boat sells, you can't compare that to the others out there because it's a better quality boat to start with, and it's been better upkept. A lot of them, because of the oil fields being shut down or oil wells being shut down out there, they've just been sitting. And the nice thing is about the guys there at Grover's old place is that, they're still keeping them up, keeping them nice and clean, keeping them repaired, so it was a lot of the biggest thing I think they had to do was they, painted the hulls, got it their own color scheme and updated electronics packaging, but the boats themselves were really solid.
That's cool. Now, Megan stated they were going non-stop from Panama City to California.
That's right.
They're just going to take off and keep on going. They have to refuel. They got enough fuel on board. I mean,
well, it's interesting the approach they took. They topped both boats off, which are, they hold a lot of fuel. They're going to tow one halfway out and then switch and then use the other one to tow. And he said he thought they would not have to stop for fuel.
How about that? Why didn't we think about that? Talking about saving mileage. I guess you can go on a trip, have a truck and pull a car halfway, then switch back, I guess. But that's interesting. So, and I know it's funny how the people in California have heard about the quality of these Queencraft and marine transportation.
Yep.
And what a great legacy. I was thrilled to see that. I knew you were going to get on there and do the inspection and all. So that's good to hear. And there was two of them, and the same, one named after his wife and one named after his mom.
Yep, they're sister ships.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, now staying on the boat subject, everything else. Here we are. This is December, so it's pretty slow as far as boats. But people, what do they need to be thinking about now as far as boating and all?
And like always, I mean, we're getting into. Well, we're in December. This really flew into this winter season, didn't it? But they need to be just going ahead. If you're not going to be using it, putting that fuel preservative in there or draining your fuel tanks. Batteries, putting them on charge because cold can kill a battery. Just typical stuff. We live in a boating community. They know what to do.
I know. Most of us, we all know what to do, but doing it is one thing because
That's right.
I back in my mind, I need to run start. I'll go by and look at it over in the pole barn, and I say, I haven't ran that thing lately. And then go do something else, and don't get back to it. But
one thing I know, a lot of our guys are starting to do their insurance surveys.
Okay.
Time for the commercial guys, and I just wanted to put it out there. We know the last 2 years have not been great for our commercial guys, so we've started doing special pricing for them because they've had such a hard time keeping things going, and especially if they have more than one boat, So if you need a survey for your insurance, don't matter where you are, we go over to Orange Beach and further if we need to. But if anyone needs their thing, we're like I said, we really reduced our rates just to help them out because no one's had a great year in the commercial fishing industry.
Well, good for y'all. I know that's important to the fishing community. The other day I thought about, we're talking about boating fatalities, talking about fishing and all. This guy over in Choctawhatchee Bay, he had sort of launching his boat, and he got in trouble. He called his wife, and when he got there, they found the boat, they couldn't find him. And you know, you've been around boats your whole life, and so accidents can happen so quick, and
Can.
boom, and you know.
They absolutely can.
And I was going to talk to you about this because you on Apalachicola Bay, you have those duck hunters, and what got me started on all this was some a hunter up there in Kentucky Lake up in Tennessee. He was in a John boat and was working on his blind, and somehow fell out of his boat and drowned. But those John boats in open water like Apalachicola Bay, they're not safe, are they?
No, not really.
And it's really something we need to be aware of and be careful about.
Always wear your life jacket.
Oh, I know, we say that.
Even if it's just an inflatable one.
Yeah, just get in the habit of doing it. All right, I'll be right back. Let's take a break. Welcome back. So glad to have Daniel Cole back with us. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 5:26 to 7:26 this evening from 5:50 to 7:50. And I found this picture because I just wanted Daniel to see it because this is his hometown. What a great picture. Dusk in Apalachicola, Florida, captured by Forrest Wesson. But does that bring back some memories for you?
It brings back a lot of memories.
I know that was. But we got. I want to share a hunting story with you, right here, because I know you love to hunt, love the dogs and all. Cody Obert put this, and this is interesting. If I knew this weekend was his last ride, I'd have loved on him for all the wonderful memories he gave me. My old trail dog I got from the pound passed away this morning. God sure blessed me with him. Kind of fitting he passed and is buried over there where he gave hard times. Rest in peace, Emmett. Okay, so you know, getting attached to dogs like that, you've seen that, but isn't that a great picture?
Mm-hmm.
And that dog, you know, the old trail dog, they don't have to go fast. They just got to have a good nose. And you get to used to. There's a picture of the kids and all, and one of the dear God. So the Obert family, Cody Obert, thank you for sharing that. But you know, you get attached to that dog, and you know the way they sound, you know their habits and all. So especially when they take that last hunt like that. So I had this is I know I was gonna appreciate this. When the buck you're hunting is friends with
I saw that the other day.
With the beaver, that wasn't staged. That really did happen.
That's amazing.
Now you're talking about your stands. Tell us about your stands too. Your stands pretty safe and everything.
Well, yeah, we custom build ours. They're 4x6 shooting towers is what they are.
Okay.
12 foot in the air.
Okay.
And you know, being a builder for years before I went into electrical and before I went into boats is, you know, we build them really stout, so we've got some really nice shooting
What kind
towers.
of foundation do you have? How do you have it?
We use 4x4s that are, I forget the exact ratio. It's not quite 45-degree angle, but
okay.
it makes sure it's really stout, and then they're anchored with steel rods at the bottom,
wow.
and then it's cross braced real hard. When you climb up in them, you don't feel no movement. It's rigid. Wow. And they were heavy as all get out to get up, but once we got them up, all the windows are sealed. Oh, so wow. You can actually, we made it so we could get off work. We wouldn't have to descend or anything, go climb in a tower, close all the windows, keep all our scent inside, sliders,
good idea.
Take a shot.
Good idea.
So,
and always something strong to be up high.
Yeah.
So much, you know.
Yeah.
I know ground blinds are still popular, and that's how we used to have those, and but I still rather get up high.
Well, during bow season, we use ground blinds,
yeah.
But for shooting, there's just no reason. I think it's like a 300-yard shot is my longest shot out of the tower I use, and
wow.
And that's nothing for what I've got, so it's
cool.
It's good.
What kind of gun do you like to shoot?
I shoot it's a LaRue 6.5 Grendel match upper on an arrow lower, and I've got a really good vortex scope on it. I've used that caliber for a long time and on and off, but I keep going back to it.
Yeah.
I went to 6.5 Creedmoor for a while, but I was having trouble finding, the deer were running off, not leaving a blood trail, and I just didn't have good luck with it. So I went back to using the Grendel, and then using something about slowing that bullet down a little bit.
That's interesting.
A little more, and then of course, like I say, I try to neck shoot everything. I've hunted deer long enough. I don't want to just shoot it and go get it. So
That's a good shot. Now listen, if you're not aiming at the body but aiming at the neck, number one,
it's really not that hard.
You got to have good confidence. Number two, you got to have a good gun.
Well, when we were depredating, the Grendel is like people overlook that caliber, but at Grendel, I headshot a doe when we were depredating for farmers at 429 yards, and the other guys hunting with me were in 5+.
Wow.
So it's a very accurate caliber.
That's great.
And we're all about ethics. If you can't make that shot, we didn't just go out there and take it. We knew we could do it. So we made sure to put our due diligence into it because we are not about anything suffering.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to show you this last picture because this is really what we're hunting for. The love of doing it. This is from Mr. Jerry Forehand. But does that look good?
It looks good.
Last year, but what he did last year was venison, and this year wild hog.
Yep, that's what I did.
Is that how you do it? So he's with Roy Morris, David Conrad. And it took them half a day to do all of it. But that's enjoyable. Putting all that together, making your own. That's how you do yours.
Well, I don't make my own. I killed a wild hog. Took my deer that I had left over, and I took it. There's a place in Bluntstown called North Smokehouse.
Okay.
And I let them do it for me, and we've been using them for years. I've never had a bad batch out of there. It's really good. And I like that you always get yours back.
Yeah.
Some places don't do that. So.
That's true. I've heard the stories and all, but that deer sausage has a special taste to it.
I love it. It does.
And I was telling Jeff, the last couple of seasons I used to bring some in to share, but I hadn't had any. I hadn't brought any deer in last year or two. So this year, I told Jeff, we're going to have us some deer sausage. So
there you go.
We're going to get us some. So we're going to run out of time, but so good to have you back.
Really nice to be back.
I know, and you're going to get to hunt some more pretty soon.
Yeah, I've got a couple really big ones. I've kind of got the first few bucks out of the way. There's a couple really big ones I'm looking for now, and then I got next doe season going around, so
all right.
Goes back.
Thank y'all for watching the show. We appreciate the viewership. Do something good for someone else today. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.